Hey everyone, it's Tim talking and I'm back with another episode. Well, another match from my Amarriner Cup 1 run. I'm in Division 2C, and yeah, one of those, I guess, semifinals match of this bracket. So, yeah, that's what I'm going to be covering today. But before I get to that, I'm going to go ahead and show my new Let's Play on the channel. It's well, it's a bit different than my normal content. It's like an actual sort of Let's Play type thing. It's going to be a bit, well, it's going to be a bit more, I guess, casual than I normally do these. Um, and yeah, it's going to be Fire Emblem Engage without the emblem rings. It's how I played my first playthrough on hard mode, but I'm doing it on maddening this time. It's not going to be like a blind playthrough, but it is going to be my first time playing maddening. So uh, I would appreciate it if people would take a look at the first episode and give feedback on it, because this is sort of a new type of content for me. But anyways, moving on to what everyone's actually here for. Let's go to round 4, and here is the map. For this one, it's called "And Just What Are We Doing Here?" And the CO band list makes it a tier 2 match. So yeah, it's this neato little map. And honestly, I feel like it's pretty balanced. It's a pretty small map, but it's not like insanely small. It's got three bases, 2 airports, and it's got 2 comm towers as well. So what that means is there's a decent amount of firepower on the board. Everyone except for Sammy can wall break if they have their 2 comm towers, and like what Sammy can do early game is, conceivably what she can do is rush for the comm towers in the center, the contested ones, and get up to 30% total extra firepower that way, which gets her the 20% as well. And yeah, it's a pretty condensed map, which honestly, like, everyone except for Olaf really likes. Well, actually, now that I think about it. But the other thing about Olaf is he's also pretty good because, like, his Winter Fury can, it can cut a Eagle Lightning Strike very easily. It's as well as like a max superpower even. Even though Max can get an extra point of move from it during it, but with his superpower. But like, honestly, like, I feel like this map is very balanced around each of the COs, around the entirety of Tier 2. Like, Eagle has a 54% win rate. Max is down at 49, actually. Olaf's at 56. And then Sammy's at 50. So it's relatively balanced. Honestly, like, I wouldn't say... I mean, like, it's 55-45, actually, so... first turn advantage. Coming in clutch there. But... So as far as that goes, it's not, like... necessarily the most balanced map ever, but... I feel like it's decently balanced enough to the point where, like, anyone could. It's anyone's game, really. It's got a lot of things going for it. It's got 2 labs even, which makes Sammy a little bit weaker. But like, since it's on your 2 base side, Sammy can actually pretty easily just push into there with a superpower, a couple land tires or tanks even, and then just yoink those labs and win that way. Max is very good because he can get up to 40% firepower day to day at a stalemate. So what that means is, like, he can just crush infantry with his tanks. He can just barrel through everything day to day. His powers are really nice. It is a bit choke pointy in this area, but like in this area as well a little bit. But honestly, like, his higher flexibility makes up for that a little bit. And then Olaf and Eagle just have crazy good superpowers. Olaf especially. Well, not Olaf especially. Like, Olaf, you might think that on a map like this, where you go to map analysis and it's only like 40k total properties, total income of the map, so it's 20k. You would think that Olaf wouldn't scale that well, considering it's not that big of a map. Like, what Olaf likes is to have lots of income of a map, lots of expensive units, so that every time he pops his Winter Fury, it just keeps on piling on and on and on. But like, honestly, it's pretty good on low income maps as well, because what it does is, if your opponent builds a really expensive unit or has one on like a city or something, and you just click the button and it just saps away their income for the next turn, meaning that they can't really buy much of anything else that next turn. Especially if they're wanting to get like double battlecopters out of the airports in the top left. Well, in the corners here. And then Eagle's also pretty good because he can spam battlecopters if he wants, he can spam takes if he wants, he can get lots and lots of light units like he wants, so it's really anyone's game on this map, honestly. Then you have these two column towers, which are highly contested in the area, in the center area. Yeah, we're literally 2 turns away from the 2 base side, 1 turn away from the single base side. It's very easy to get to these 2 column towers. The ones in the corners are a lot less contested, but like a single bit of 10% firepower isn't like gonna. It basically has it here so that this is cached, and then that makes these 2 in the center a lot more valuable, because it's the difference between having 20% firepower and not having 20% firepower. And that makes a huge difference. That can make a huge difference when you're trying to attack into cities, as you will see in this match, actually. And yeah, I picked Olaf this match. Honestly, I feel like Olaf is a pretty decent Eagle counter, because what he does is he pops his Winter's Fury, and it's a bit close, actually, to get it to Eagle being able to pop his superpower. Like, conceivably, Eagle could outrun Olaf to the superpower, and then if he does that, Olaf's done, right? But if Olaf gets his superpower first, that basically allows him to just freeze out Eagle, and then Eagle's going to be stuck there with a superpower, but with his units not being able to move nearly as far as they want to, which is kind of devastating for him with his lightning strike. Because then the question becomes, do you wait a turn with a full power meter, and allow your opponent to charge up more meter when you actually inevitably pop your lightning strike, but get a better lightning strike out of it, be able to actually move your units around? Or do you pop it right there, and have a kind of lackluster superpower? So that makes this makes Olaf can really cuck Eagle if he gets a well-timed superpower off. Anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at the replay. So, starting off, the other thing about this map that's kind of schizophrenic is, like, there's no real capture chains on this map. I mean, there are a couple if you include the labs here. So it's nice in this area, actually. So like, being offensive in this area is greatly rewarded with your infantry, which I like about this map, actually. But there's nowhere else in the map that actually has decent capture chains. It's kind of ridiculous, actually. So what that forces the players to do is spread out their infantry a lot early game. The other thing it does is it greatly rewards players who go for these airports early on. Not really for being able to build a battlecopter super early on, but because you can chain these two. Like, they're right next to each other, so it's not the most impressive chain ever, but you can chain them, and that's still a lot of income that you can chain there by doing it that way. So that's important. Oh, I didn't even... I kept talking for too long. So turn 4, actually, I think I spent like a day considering whether to build a recon or not, and I ended up just building infantry because, like, the map's too small for recon early to open recon. So my opponent goes for the tank. It's a little early for a tank, but honestly, I feel like this tank ended up paying off a lot for him. He's not going to be able to chain with it, but this map is sort of in a really specific... it's sort of specific enough that it actually ends up paying off for him. I also went for this comm tower very early on, made sure that I got it secured, whereas I think my opponent went a bit more heavy on the... Well, slightly more heavier. He went for the income instead of that, which is nice too, but it's gonna... Well, you'll see here in a second. So... Oh, he's not even going for... He's going for the income very too even. That's interesting. Then he's pushing his tank away from my tank, which I built here. So that he's trying to split my tank build a little bit. Which is smart. And it is what you sort of want to do if you're opening tanks very early like this. Something you can do pretty easily as well. Honestly, I should not have built the tank there. In hindsight, I should have just built it here. Because from this base, you can get up to this city in one turn. You can't get there from this city in one turn. And getting to this city in one turn is a lot better of a play. Well, most of the time. You'll actually see a pretty big mistake I made here in a second. Because what I did was... Well, not here yet. But I've got a second tank here to push him away from my infantry in this area. So that's fine. That's all fine. And he's actually ahead a lot in income. It's only going to be for like a turn, because this map is so spread out. But he is ahead of... It's a hell of a lot in income. Which is why I opted to go for this city first instead of the comm tower here, actually. Because I needed the money. I needed the money really badly. And then he goes for the 2 tanks here. So what I do here, actually, is a bit of a mistake. Put the tank here. Normally this isn't actually that bad of a move, because it's in range of this tank here, this build here. So what this does is it has this tank cover this tank. So they cover each other. And then I had this guy coming in on the right side, even though it's sort of cut off. But in a position where it can fall back to this area if it wants to. Because I'm seeing this guy getting a little bit close to the lab here, and I want him to stay off of that if I can help it. I know it's only one lab right now, but like you can chain off of that to the actually valuable properties, so I wanted him to stop him in his tracks like as soon as I possibly could there. So I have this guy able to pivot back to this city if I need to. Normally this would be fine, because, well, my thinking behind this is, like, it's early game, you have, like, you can sort of chain tanks off of this, and it would be pretty good if it were, like, a single tank into a single tank. The only issue of that is, like, he can attack with both his tanks here. If he had done that, he would basically be getting rid of my tank entirely. You could even chain more tanks out from this area, start building tanks in this area to, like, draw my tank away a little bit as well, put me on defensive on this side as well. So that this is actually a pretty big mistake on my part, is moving to here. I should have moved to this city instead, because it gives me the same amount of coverage in this area, but it's not nearly as exposed to his base as this base moving on to this city is. And the other thing is, I sort of want to get my infantry onto this city next turn anyways, so if we're tank chaining off of this city, I can't do that. So that's another reason to go to this city. But yeah, he'd be able to. I'd be down to like 1 health on this tank, and it'd be basically useless. I'd have to push in with this guy, and then if he had more tanks coming in, he'd just start overwhelming me here. So that could have been a really good move on his part. You didn't go for that. Thankfully for me, honestly. What he did instead was he started capturing this guy, and then he put his tanks over here, and he built a battlecopter instead. Now, don't get me wrong. Eco battlecopters are very powerful. It's just not the right move in this situation, because he doesn't have the money to get that and another vehicle. He could have gotten 2 tanks this turn, and he would have had enough money left over. Probably? Well, maybe to get a battlecopter plus a tank next turn. I don't know. He's only at 14k income, actually. But he did start with, like, 1600? So he'd have an extra 2k next turn. Maybe. I think it's a bit early to start with the battlecopters, though. Because all you're doing by doing a single battlecopter like this is you're just having me immediately respond with an anti-air, which is fine. It leaves the tank game where it is, but you need a couple more tanks to overwhelm me with to start with, because I can't build 2 tanks this turn. Like if he had, because I've been sleeping on my capture game this entire time. So if he had built like a tank there and a tank there, and then attacked with both of his tanks here, I would have been like, I don't think I would have been able to respond to that properly. I think I might have just gotten overwhelmed at that point. So I'm glad that he didn't do that. But also it's a bit of a throw. So I instead go for the same sort of move actually, and I take out his tank like that. So that helps me out in unit count a little bit. And then I go to interrupt the cap there on the comm tower, delaying this cap by like 1 turn, but like there's no way he's gonna go to interrupt this at this point. There's no real reason for him to do that. He does have this guy in range of the comm tower, which is very annoying. But I go for this as well and delay the cap down here because I just need to get some pressure on the front lines here. So my bad early capture game coming to bite me in the butt a little bit here, but I'm actually already back basically on par. Well, not quite on par on income, but I'm not too far behind. And then I go for the recon here finally, because he's not building any tanks in this area. So like if there's a bunch of infantry, no tanks, recons are king. So I go for the recon there actually, because I have enough money for the recon plus the anti-air plus an infantry even. So that ended up working out really nicely as far as like building things, build order. He moves in to start threatening this area with the battlecopter, but like we got an anti-air here. There's not too much he can do, and he goes for a medium tank actually as well, which is very annoying. But what this did was, well, you'll see in a second here, and that was very good at like kicking my tanks off of his base here. I will say that. Him checking out there is very nice for that purpose. Oh, let me check that. I'm going for that with the recon and interrupt there, and I'm finally capping these as well. Plus, I'm going to get 20% firepower next turn as well. And he's actually not going to be able to do too much here. Basically finish off this cap with the tank. And then I move in like that actually with the tank here. Which, honestly, in hindsight, I don't know if it was the best idea, because you can have a full 12 tank versus... So this tank's going to go down next turn. Basically anyways, because of the infantry here. We can get a luck roll off this mountain, or basically free to finish it off even if this tank doesn't kill it. But honestly, I think this ended up being worth it. Because it also makes it so that he can't reinforce this comm tower cap with this infantry anymore. Which was, I think that was pretty, yeah, I think it was pretty, it helped a lot there. And then I go for the cap here as well. Because he's on the forest, I'm not sure if this is the, oh, you know why I went for the cap? It's because I wanted to preserve the health on the infantry. And by doing it this way, it basically gives him a decision of what he needs to attack in order to get me off of here. And it basically also prevents him from capping with his infantry this turn. I mean next turn. So I'm further delaying his capture of this comm tower by at least another 2 turns. Well, another turn. Yeah, this goes for the kill here. Even if he hadn't gotten the luck roll there, he could have just finished off with his infantry. It's not that big of a deal. This guy is not the best here. I'm gonna go for the second recon here as well, because I don't have enough money to do stuff. Oh, I went recon, infantry, infantry. Mainly because I needed to save up money to deal with this medium tank, which I'm not going to build a medium tank against Eagle. No way am I doing that, because his battlecopters are just going to zone me out if I go for medium tank. So I'm going for a bit of a different move here. He basically takes out my infantry there. Whatever. It doesn't matter too much at the end of the day. He goes for a second battlecopter and an artillery. The artillery here in this area are actually like Eagle artillery in this area are just insane. I'm not gonna lie. They're very good. He actually base hit for that, which, as far as unit count, I think that's the play, because it allows him to get an extra vehicle. Well, allows him to get an extra battlecopter here, instead of an infantry, which he doesn't really need the infantry in this area that much anyways. So as far as the unit count goes, he's not really stopping himself from doing stuff. He could get an extra tank here maybe, but seeing my next move, you're gonna see why, because this was a pretty heavily telegraphed as well. My next move here, I go here, hide him on the city to heal up a little bit, and I go for a Neo tank. And that's mainly to zone out his medium tank here. That's sort of, I think that's part of why he went battlecopter artillery, because he knew I was going to go for the Neo tank here. I was saving up for that, so yeah, I don't think I had enough money for a medium tank anyways last turn, so figured may as well save up for a Neo tank. It's going to be better. It'll get to the front lines faster as well, so that's important as well. And I just go in like that to talk this infantry out of the capture here. So he moves it like that, and actually starts capping there with that infantry. He's got good artillery in this area as well. So this area, he's got a nice little block of units started up. He's pivoting this guy to the right, so he's trying to split off my anti-air as well, which is what he's trying to do is force me to build another anti-air next turn. And then push in with his tanks and everything as well. So because all I have here in this area are 2 recons and then like maybe a tank or something, that is a pretty good strategy, because he's trying to make me build something that he can just charge in again for his tanks. I just go for the recon hit there, because his vehicles aren't actually in range here. This city looks pretty close to this property, but it's actually really far away because of this mountain. This one's going to take a little while to get over here as well. And then I move like this. It looks a little bit weird. Oh, and I go for the anti-air as well, because I just need to do it so that he can't really get in here for free with the battlecopter. I've also got infantry in the area so that I can kick him off of this if he tries anything funny. And yeah, just pivoting like that. And then I attack like that to delay this counter cap again, and I move in with my infantry as well. So I've got a nice long line of infantry here. That's like, what, 7 infantry? I don't know. It's a pretty good line. It can get punched through relatively easily, but it's a pretty good line. He goes for a recon here as well to try and do stuff against my infantry, which honestly it's a pretty good move because it gives him an extra vehicle to move around with. So, and as Eagle, he always wants extra vehicles because his infantry can't double move with lightning strike, but his vehicles can. So he knocks me out with the artillery there, gets a good first shot strike off of there, and finishes me off as well. Join caps, takes out the tank there, and then actually starts capping there. So this is a very aggressive move, actually. Thankfully, I've got 20% firepower, so this doesn't actually lean all that much, as you will see here in a second. But this is a good buildup of units here. So, yeah, it's something that you sort of need to be worried about. And here's the crazy thing. Right? It's the crazy thing is that we're actually pretty close to our superpowers. Like, I'm gonna make a pretty aggressive move here to get him off of the comm towers. Take out the battlecopter. So already that's a big amount of damage there. And that's gonna matter a lot here. Get a nice first strike off there. That's another little bit of damage there. Take out the recon with the Neo tank, and then go in like that. It's another good amount of damage here. And already, it's honestly within striking distance for Eagle to be able to get to his superpower here in a second. Which is kind of crazy. I go for this, which is... Honestly, I think this is a little bit too aggressive. For this infantry, for just the single infantry here. Because, as you will see here in a second, I'm actually going to bring up Move Planner. To show this off is, Eagle's actually only like 33, 34 K away from getting his lightning strike. And how can he get that? Well, you bring up damage calculator. Let's say he tosses this guy into the Neo tank. That right there is like, that's almost like 12K worth of charge right there, just by that engagement. It's even more than that, honestly. It's like 13, 14K. So already he's up to, what, 50, 62 just from that. So he needs another 20K. He's got 2 battlecopters in range of my anti-air here. And the crazy thing about Eagle battlecopters is like, okay, let's say he suicides the first one. And what's crazy here, what's absolutely crazy here, is he's not actually even guaranteed to lose his first attack here. It's actually more likely than not that he won't lose it on the first attack here, because he's probably going to do free HP worth of damage here. He gets that, guaranteed that it doesn't kill. Then he goes for a second attack, and that's another, what, half a battlecopter? But this guy's down to what, 4 HP? Maybe 3 HP? So that's a battlecopter and a half from his side. So that's like 13, 14K just by that itself, plus another like half an anti-air for me, which will be another, well, that's only 2K, honestly. So that's another 15K. That's a total of 15K. So that combined with the 12 or so. So he's at 60, let's say 62 from the engagement with the medium tank, right? Add in another 15 from the battlecopters. That brings him up to 78. And then he can get like 3k. That's easy money. He can get that just from taking out this anti-air here. So what I'm saying here is he could have easily just overwhelmed me with a lightning strike here, and it's crazy to see how quickly Eagle's lightning strike actually just charges up. Like, you'd think that it wouldn't be possible for him to be able to do something crazy like that, but like, as soon as I made this move with the anti-air, I took like a double take, and I'm like, wait a second, he can totally just get his lightning strike at this point. So moving with the anti-air like that was way too aggressive. I should have just left him on this city here. Then there'd be no possible way that he could get the lightning strike this next turn. I would have been fine. The other thing, so like, yeah, he doesn't actually go for that because he would have won if he had done that, honestly. I'm honestly surprised he didn't end up going for that, but he goes for this instead. He actually goes for the attack onto the anti-air with a medium tank. Yeah, I don't know why. That seems like such a bad move. Because he has the units to get here anyways with the cover stuff. Like, he could have spent this into the tank and then that would have been better, probably. But like, had he gotten the lightning strike off, he could have just pivoted to first strike the tank with the medium tank anyways. Well, whatever. He didn't go for a lightning strike stat. He didn't go for his suicide with the battlecopter, which wasn't even a suicide, even. It's actually basically optimal. It's close to optimal. If you can, like, Eagle can, if he has the extra, even just 10% firepower. That's what's super crazy about this. So, like, even with 10% firepower, he can take good engagements against anti-air with just battlecopters, which is, it's crazy. If you're trading, like, well, you're trading, to be fair, it's not like winning if you're going to be doing that consistently, but it's like close to cruiser territory with the battlecopters here. That's not true. That's not true at all. Cruisers are so bad. But it's kind of close. So I was like, oh, I'm glad that I didn't just die there. Anyways, so this turn it was super important for me to get my Winter's Fury. He did a really good job of putting his units into a position which they're decently protecting each other. So I can't start capping this con tower this turn because he'll just get his lightning strike and then it'll interrupt the cap anyway, so it doesn't matter. So what I wanted to do was pop my power so that his lightning strike gets contained, and he can't really do much with it. So I opened up with that attack from the tank. I was kind of expecting it to die, but keeping the unit count there is actually better for me. But like, he gets lightning strike, it dies anyway. So I need the meter here. I may as well grab it right away. And with an engagement like this, that's basically maximizing that meter there. Then I move in on the artillery, knock that out of the way. Get a good shot off there, get a good shot off there, and then that's enough to get my superpower, and bam. Bam, I win, basically. Now, it's not, like, quite that simple, actually, because, like, that's not going to kill ever. He still has counterplay here, but it's going to be a lot, it would have been very difficult for him to play this back. I actually take out the tank there, and then I get the recon onto there so that he can't just move in with his medium tank like that for free. So he's gonna have a really hard time moving in here, and the main reason is because, like, look at that move on the battlecopter. We're stuck. We're kind of stuck. And the other thing that's genius about this is, like, he built this Neo tank this turn, so And I'm gonna go for another medium tank to like guard my medium tank here, because like he could conceivably take out my recon, pop lightning strike, then get a good shot off on this guy. Like I know his medium tank is only at 8 health, but I'm only on a force too, so it's sort of even. And he could open up with a battlecopter attack as well. So he actually just resigns here. But he could have. He's like so close to his lightning strike. And like here's the stats and everything. KD. Like, lots of stuff here. And if you're interested, I don't really care too much about that. What ended up winning me the round was well, it was being able to pop my superpower earlier on. Like earlier than my opponent did. And yeah, honestly, he could have kept playing here though. Like as Eagle, this isn't impossible to come back from. What he could have done was like kill this tank with the 3 health tank, fall back with this guy, attack with this guy from the shoal, attack with the battlecopter from there. There goes the recon. The recon's dead, right? Well, I don't know what he's gonna do with this infantry block because we're kind of neutered, and he's stuck at 15k as well, meaning that he can't really get that many battlecopters. I guess he could join a bunch of these infantry for income. Could have done that. But he could have taken out the recon, then moved in against the medium tank here with battlecopter plus medium tank, and that would have been okay. Well, the only issue is I got the second medium tank here, actually, to sort of stop that. But he could have done a good amount of damage here, and then what he could have done here was move this guy back, open up with an attack with the Neo tank here, which actually doesn't kill. It doesn't quite kill, but like with the artillery backup, he can take it out and then get a first strike on my Neo tank. Which with this from the forest, it's actually only just like an even trade. So to be fair, it's like not the best, but you could also get this guy sort of close. Maybe, I don't know. I am like 5 units ahead of him and 30k up as well, so I see why he resigned at that point, because it's basically over, but he had some counterplay that he could have done here. He could have even saved, if he wanted to, he could have saved the lightning strike for next turn, but like, I don't know, that's not the best move here. And if he was worried about these caps getting through, oh, that's the other thing that probably sealed the deal, was this guy here capping the city, because that's gonna tilt the battle in my favor. There's not really much that he's gonna be able to capture either, so I'm gonna grab this and then I'm gonna keep an income lead, and because I'm already ahead on income and unit count, like that's just gonna snowball really nicely. So I see that's why he resigned here. I think he had a little bit of counterplay if he wanted to keep playing, and he probably should have at least played out this turn, because I would have liked to see what he did with the lightning strike. That would have even things out a little bit. That could have been fun, but whatever. Yeah, so all that's left for Amarriner Cup, actually. It's the finals here. Or my name's getting cut off. But, oh wait, I can just scroll this up. Honestly, I'm kind of expecting Sneagle to come in here and win against whoever this guy is, because he's 8th seed. But honestly, you can see whoever has the higher seed doesn't like automatically win either. But Sneagle is like, I looked at his profile and it's pretty crazy, honestly. I'm not gonna lie, it's a little bit ridiculous. So I'm expecting to fight him in the finals. So what that means is that's going to be a really good final match. It's on the map. What is the map? Come on, load already. But anyway, it's a tier 4 map. Yeah, and Finale Amelia? Who fucking cares? And this is going to be an interesting map. It's got a lot of terrain, which, no lash. Lots of roads. So, you know, coal's good, right? It's got 2 airports as well, so this is a very interesting map. It'll be interesting. So, yeah, stay tuned in for that. That's going to be like forever from now, because we got to wait for this match to finish, then we got to wait for this match to finish. Then we got to wait for this match to actually finish as well. So, yeah, it'll be a little bit from now, but that's why you should go ahead and like and subscribe and all that other nonsense, so that when this match does eventually come around, you'll be subscribed. So you'll automatically get the video in your feed. Yeah, that's basically it for today. Well, not it for today, because I actually have I've got my match with, oh yeah, I got my fog match from Scrappy Cup? No, it's not Scrappy Cup. It's fucking, what's it called? Smacky Cup. Excuse me. Yeah, I got my Smacky Cup match. So I'm gonna have a video on that out today as well. So stay tuned in for that. Yeah, that'll be out in I don't know when I'm gonna schedule it. Probably like an hour or so from now. So stay tuned in for that. See you guys later.